Hello? All right. Is this recording? It is. All right. Hello. My name is John Robert Ingalls, and I'm going to be talking about Shintoism, specifically about the kamis in Shintoism and the shrines that house the kamis in Shintoism. So before we talk about the kamis and the shrines of Shintoism, first let's talk about what is Shintoism. So what is Shintoism? Shintoism is an indigenous ancient Japanese religion that was founded around the 16th century because it wanted to distinguish itself from the incoming Buddhism influence in Japan. It started around 1000 BCE. There is no sacred person or official sacred documents in the religion, which is unique in itself. The meaning of Shintoism is the ways of the kami. We're about to talk about what kami is, but right now I'm just going to say that kami means spirits. Some dialect, it means gods. It can mean a bunch of other things spiritually. And today, Shintoism, nearly 80% of Japanese people practice Shintoism traditions, festivals, and rituals. So, what is kami? So, kami is spirits, and in Shintoism, the spirits, kamis, are known to be in nature. So that means you can find a kami can take place into trees, stones, water, animals like foxes, rabbits. It also could take place as a person and even sometimes the dead. So these spirits, like I said, these spirits live in different nature. There are many different kamis, I think hundreds and thousands in Shintoism, but we're going to talk about the few. We're going to talk about Amaterasu, the sun goddess in the universe, Rajun and Fusion, the gods of lightning, thunder, storm, and wind, and Inari, the goddess of basically everything important in Japan. So first, we are going to talk about Amaterasu. So Amaterasu is considered the most important kami in Shintoism. She is the goddess of the sun, which gives life to everything and the universe. In ancient Japanese culture, usually the emperors of Japan were somehow related to Amaterasu. Even during World War II, Emperor Hiratsuyo told people that he was a direct descendant from Amaterasu. And after the war, people in Japanese radio had to announce to its citizens that he was not the descendant of Amaterasu. Her shrine is the most important shrine out of all the kamis. It is the shrine of Ice. Ice is located in the Mi prefecture in Japan. And I kind of have, as a kid, there was a video game that came out called Okami, which was basically Amaterasu as a wolf, and you had to save the world from darkness. So whenever the world was dark, people would pray to Amaterasu to bring in light. That was her purpose. Next, we're going to talk about is Rajin and Fusion. So to your right is Rajin. He is known as the god of storms, thunder, and lightning, while Raijin, to your left, is known as the god of wind. So in the picture, you guys can clearly tell there's a big difference. To the right is Rajin. Rajin is usually depicted as a male who's holding a drum and a stick. So the reason why he holds a drum and a stick is because every time he hits the drum, that sparks lightning and thunder, which causes storms. And to your left, if you look at Fusion, you see that he's carrying a bag. What this bag contains wind. So every time he opens the bag, that means wind will come out of the bag. And Japanese culture, Rajin and Fusion are terrified. They are vicious, kamis, because usually when those two are usually together, and when they are together, they cause serious storms like typhoons, floods, just any horrific things. And so usually when there's a shrine, these fearsome kamis would be in the front of the shrines, because when people would enter them, they would have to look at the faces of Rajin and Fujin, which is supposed to terrify people. Next one we're going to talk about is Inari. So Inari is considered the second most important kami in Shino religion. What's so important about her is that she is the goddess of rice, tea, fertility, and sake and worldly success. What's so special about her is that if you look in the image right over there, you see a bunch of foxes around her. So what happens with her is that she uses these foxes as her messengers to the world, especially at Earth. So in Japan, foxes are highly, highly respected because they are messengers in Inari. So we're about to distinguish the uniqueness of an Inari shrine and just a regular shrine. So now we're going to talk about Izanami and Izagani, my bad. Sorry. So what's so special about them is that they're the kamis of creation. If you look at the image, they have that spear. So what they do is that every time they spin that spear, they're creating a distance between the sea and heaven. And whenever a raindrop falls on their spear, if you look in that image really closely right over here, you see little drops of water. Every time a drop of water falls off their spear, it creates another island. Next one we're going to talk about is Ben-Zatian. Ben-Zatian is the goddess of knowledge and arts. She is the goddess of almost everything that flows through your mouth, like eloquence, words, music, love. In popular Japanese culture, she is regarded to be the kami that is associated with romance and love. What's so special about her is that she is one of the Shichu Fukujin, which are the 7 gods of luck and good fortune. So, for example, there's Ibushi, which is the god of honesty. Dakotoken is the god of fortune. Bishnomoten is the god of dignity. Biznaten, right over here, is the god of knowledge, goddess of knowledge and art. Fukojuro is the god of longevity. Hoti is the god of happiness, and Drojin is the god of wisdom. So these gods usually deal with, say if you're having a tough time, you usually want to pray to one of these gods to get some luck. So speaking of luck and praising to kamis, let's talk about where they live and where people praise them, the shrines. Oh wait, before we do that, let's talk about the uniqueness of this other kami called Yukigami. So what's so special about the Yukigami is that unlike kami, they come from ancestors. So usually they used to be kamis of an ancient clan, but later they become, to the 13th century, the meaning changed to an ancestral deity of a family or clan. So usually they're tied by blood, or they're tied by the blood of the family or to the land itself. So they protect anyone who was born in the clan or near it. The Yujiko are usually the people that live in that general area, and they also take care of the Yukigami shrine. So if you have an ancestor who died on that battlefield who had a strong will, they are possibly reformed as a kami, Yukigami, that protects the land and your family. So, like I was saying earlier, let's talk about where these kamis live and where people worship them. So let's talk about shrines. So shrines in Shintoism is a place of worship and the house of the kami that the shrine is based off of. In the shrines, there's usually sacred objects that represent the kami. These sacred objects are located in the innermost part of the shrine. They cannot be seen by anyone, only the priest and priestess that take care of the shrine. Shrines are used to pay respects to the kami and or pray for good fortune, but there's also many reasons why people use shrines. People use shrines to celebrate special events such as New Year's Day, different festivals like the Autumn Festival, the Summer Festival, the Spring Festival. When new babies are born, usually they're brought to a shrine within the first few weeks of their birth, and in special occasions, people hold their wedding ceremonies at these shrines. There are many different types of shrines across Japan. There's hundreds of shrines, I think almost thousands of shrines. What's so special about these shrines is that sometimes, if like you're one of the important gods or goddesses, important kamis like the Atsumi and Inari, there's thousands of these shrines located in Japan. But there's also shrines that are taken care of by the government itself. So let's talk about it. So first shrine we're going to talk about is the imperial shrines. What's so special about these imperial shrines is that they are shrines that are directly funded and administered by the government itself. Imperial shrines can be recognized by the imperial's family's Chertasumen crest and by the fact they are often called the Jingu and rather Jinga. So that's a distinct way to tell if a shrine is funded by the government, is by the Jingu and not being called a Jinga. These shrines, many of the imperial shrines are the most important shrines in Japan, such as the ice shrines, the Izumo shrine, the Atsuwa shrine, and a number of shrines built during the Meiji period, such as Tokyo's Meiji shrines and Kyoto's Heian shrines. So to the picture right over here, this is the picture of the most important shrine in Japan. As we talk about it, is the ice shrines. That is the home of the sun goddess Amaterasu. Next, we're going to talk about the second most important most important kami shrine is Inari shrine. So, like I said earlier, if you're one of the most popular or important kamis in Japan, there are thousands of shrines. So, like, there's thousands of Inari shrines all over Japan because they worship the goddess directly of rice, tea, fertility, sake, and worldly success. But what is so unique about the shrine is usually shrines have these things called komanu, which are guardian dogs or lions that protect the shrine. But in Inari shrines, since she uses foxes as her messengers, these shrines are protected by foxes, unlike most shrines. So that's how you distinguish if you're an Inari shrine or any other shrine. This is the only shrine that does not have the same komanu anywhere. So that's since we talked about the different types of shrines. Let's talk about what's in the shrine and what does it represent. So first, we're going to talk about the torii. So whenever you walk into a shrine, you're going to see this. What this symbolizes that you're entering to a shrine. So usually these tories are made out of wood. They're made out of wood, 2 horizontal beams with a vertical one. And they're usually colored orange or really bright red. And this is, like I said, supposed to signify when you walk into a shrine or you're close to a shrine. It's supposed to indicate that, oh, hey, there's a shrine here. Now, what we're going to talk about, chozua. So what a chozua, I missed a slide. So now what we're going to talk about is komanu. So like I said again, komanu are these pair of either guardian dogs or lions that are supposed to protect the kami in that shrine itself, or the people that live in that shrine. What's interesting about this is that actually these komanus were first brought from Korea, then to China, and then to Japan. And they've been incorporated into Japanese shrines ever since they were brought into China. And like I said again, only places that don't have these komanus are Inari shrines, because instead of lions or dogs, they are foxes. Now, what we're going to talk about is the chiozu, or purification throw. So what this is basically a fountain of water where you have to do a ceremonial purification rite called temazu. So what this is that you're supposed to clean your hands and your mouth before you enter a shrine. These are usually found the moment you enter a shrine. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to scoop of water with one of those ladles. You're supposed to wash your left hand first and then your right hand. And with the same water you have in that ladle, you pour it to your hand, rinse your mouth, and spit. And with the remaining water left, you're supposed to clean the ladle. And so you have to do that before any time you walk into a shrine to cleanse yourself, because the shrine is such a holy place for this kami. So now we're going to talk about the main and offering halls. So they're usually in the same building. What the main hall is the Honden. And what's so special about the Honden is that this is where the special artifact is. It's either a Shintai or a Mentasharu that's within the Honden. That is the sacred object that connects the kami to this shrine. And then next to it, if you see right over here, in front of the Honden is the offering hall, which is called the Haiden. Usually this is where people make the offerings to kami. Usually give money, usually like 5 yen, to make an offering to the local kami. Then what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to bow 2 times, and then clap twice, bow, and then bow again to know that you're done offering your prayer. Usually what people ask is the students go to the shrine to ask for better grades. Adults go there ask for a better job, better pay, or do good in their job. Many people also go there to have a better love life. Right over here, I'm going to show you a video, which is a demonstration of what you need to do when you enter a shrine. You can see there's the Tories right over there. In the video, you can see she's wearing this tradition yukata. Usually people wear this during festivals. All right. There you go. So, and when you enter a shrine, there's usually this stage that's in front of the Hoden and Hiden, but if not, it's somewhere away from the temple, close to it. So usually what this is usually a place where they have either a dance going on, like a dance of like a kaju dance, or sometimes a play. Usually these dances and plays involve the kami that's in that shrine, usually how it saves someone or how it purifies the earth, many other things. And usually these dances and plays are held through many festivals that are going on to the shrine. So here's a quick example of the Kajuru dance that it's held in one of the shrines. Yeah. So usually these dances or plays are performed by the priest or priestess or the kids that participate in that shrine. So next, we're going to talk about the ima. So what's so special about the ima is that usually once you visit the shrine, you could go to one of these ima wooden boards, and what you do is that you leave them a message of wishing for good luck. So the point of the emas is to make a wish and for the wish to come true. That is the point of the ema. So usually what people wish for is like when they ask for something, they make an offering for something in the hidden when they're making an offering. Usually people wish for good health, success in business, passing an entrance exam if you're a college student or you're trying to go up to the different levels, or love and wealth. Next, we're going to talk about the umikuji. If you saw in the video, she got her fortune, like a fortune teller, and there's a wide ranges of messages. You could either get a dakichi, which means great good luck, or in that video, daikoyo, which means great bad luck. And usually what you do once you get these messages, you want to tie them up into these little strings, and for your for the kami to read it and to depend if this is for you or not. Next and final thing we're going to talk about is the shimanawa. So if you look over here, right over here, this is a shimanawa. What it is, it's lengths of laced rice straw or hemp rope. It is used for ritual purification in the Shinto religion. It can vary in diameter and a few centimeters to it's often fastened with shide. What's also cool about this is that this is also the same material that sumo wrestlers actually have. And right over here is my works cited. Before I end this before I end this presentation, just right over here, if you could see it, this was given to me from my mom's friend who went to a Japanese shrine. I don't remember what the shrine was, but she bought this for me, and it means luck. And usually you can buy these in any shrines. They have different messages. I know in some cartoons that I watched, there's one for love. And what's interesting about the kamis and the shrines is that how deep it is in its culture. Usually when there's a Japanese cartoon anime, usually it's based around the shrines or the kamis that surround the Shinto religion. It is a huge influence in Japan. And yeah, just want to say thank you so much for having me in your class, and I hope you have a good summer. Thank you. Bye.